Hello everyone and welcome back to the Toby channel, bringing you another Fantasy EFL Game Week preview. This time we've got a double game week in double Game Week 13. So it's going to be another big game week. There's only 6 teams doubling, but it's still a very interesting game week and the deadline is just around the corner. It's on the Thursday night as well. So hopefully you're watching this in time and you've not missed out on some of the picks. But if you have, there's still plenty of options to choose between. Just you got to try and get those picks in as early as possible. We've also got a feature from the world number 15 this week as well, who's been world number 1 for quite a few weeks this week, so can't wait for that in Experts Corner later on. So we've got a very quick turnaround before the deadline, so let's not waste any more time and let's get into it. However, we do of course have to recap game week 12 and just go over all the shenanigans from the past game week, which was probably the biggest double game week that we've had of the season so far. It was absolutely massive. So yeah, just a quick look at it. Again, I feel like I got really unlucky as always and haven't managed to make much ground. I'm on a green arrow, as you can see, by 300 places, 300 dead on actually. I do have a player to play tonight as I'm filming this and as this should come out as well, of Imran Loser from Watford. So hopefully he can pull out like a 20 pointer and we can actually have had an okay game week, because it still seems pretty bad to me, to be honest, on the grand scheme of things. But it is what it is. Just to recap what's happened over it really. So we'll start with Swindon, the team pick, who got a red card in their first game, lost 4-0 to Accrington, 20th place. Then last night they conceded straight away against Notts County as well. Night Label got a -1 against Accrington for the goals conceded and a booking, and it's just been terrible for the Swindon assets. And I also said that I would pick Drinton in my team, move him into my team, who got a couple of goals in the game week, but because I was commentating at Blackpool, didn't have a chance to see that and put him in. But it is what it is. I wouldn't, to be fair, I would have put Armstrong out instead of, well, I wouldn't have taken Wright out for Drinton, so can't really complain too much. Coventry conceding a last-minute consolation last night as well was really frustrating. And then the Wright captaincy, Wright didn't get on the pitch last night, and Thomas Asante got a 26 pointer. So if you captain Thomas Asante, there was a 46-point swing between him and Wright captainers. There were 52 points for Thomas Asante captains, which is crazy. I'm aware that there were some risks with Wright. He was always a bit of a risk for rotation because of the internationals, but didn't expect him to not get on the pitch and get 62 minutes over the 2 games. Like, was of course willing to take that risk, but never expected it to be that bad. I don't think that it deserved to be that big of a swing between the 2 picks. And then to talk about Armstrong as well, as you can see, he got 15 points and he was a massive differential for me. But he didn't score in his first game against Swansea. I think he had 4 shots on target, which is obviously good for points, but he had 1.21 expected goals, missed a massive chance, just should have scored probably a couple of goals in that game. Did get a goal last night, but again had a massive XG total, 1.83 over the course of the game week. So I think it's fair to say that's unlucky not to score at least 2 goals from. Really frustrating with him. 15 points is still good, but I just feel like it could have been an absolute mega haul. And then if you remember last week as well, I had Johansson in my team for the save points. I was feeling pretty confident about him. Ended up switching just with FOMO, going to Stolarczyk from Leicester, and then of course Johansson got a clean sheet against Wrexham too. So many big swings that we were on the back end of it and have gone pretty badly again. Mehmeti doing well was a good pick, and Thomas obviously did well but missed out on a clean sheet right at the end. Frustrating stuff. Hopefully Loser can recover it a little bit, but a massive game week. At least it's a green arrow, but it's definitely not going to get me anywhere near the places that I want to be. But it is what it is. We move on to this week and let's find out what's happening this week. Before we get into the Game Week 13 chat, I've got to say, if you've not subscribed already, please do. It means the absolute world to me. I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by Christmas time, and I really think that we can do it. I promised as well to dress up as Santa for a Christmas special if we hit it by Christmas time. So go and make that happen, because not that I want to dress up as Santa, but I think that would be a fun thing to see. Maybe I'll put like the Santa accent on for the whole episode as well. We'll see. But yeah, give me a subscribe if you haven't already, because nearly 50% of people watching haven't subscribed. It means the world. Give me a like as well, because it helps the content to get pushed out to more people. And now back to the video. On to Game Week 13 then, the mini double game week that we've got this week. As you can see, 6 teams doubling this week, which is crazy compared to last week. It's so many less, but I actually think that almost makes the decision making a little bit tougher. We've got 4 League One sides doubling, which is Bradford, Lincoln, Mansfield and Plymouth, and then Tranmere and Accrington from League 2 as well. And it starts tomorrow. So it starts with Plymouth playing Exeter tomorrow night on the Thursday. So hopefully people will watch this in time, or they will see some kind of notification or reminder somewhere that the game is going to start, because if you want Plymouth double game week assets, you've got to get them in by the Thursday night. So massively quick turnaround from the Wednesday the game week finishing to then the Thursday it's starting, but hopefully people will see it in time. And yeah, let's get into these 6 different teams and have a look at who I think might be the better assets or who we should avoid. So the clubs for this week, this is how we're looking in terms of the stats, and there's probably never been this much yellow or red on the screen, but I've got to say, back the doublers. I would always go for a double game week player over a single game week player. There might be some fixtures that you really like with the singlers and want to take the odd one punt on or so. Sorry, can't speak there. But I just think it's worth just filling your team with 2 players. You've got twice the chance of a win for the clubs. You've got twice the chance of, scraping a goal from a defender. All those clearance points can build up, and you could get more points from clearances and tackles than you would even get just from a clean sheet with a single game week player. So it's worth just backing the doublers. I would just fill out your team with doublers, even if you don't like the fixtures. And I don't think that they're brilliant whatsoever. We're going to start with Bradford at the top, who are obviously the highest placed team out of any of the clubs that we've got available as the doublers this week. The fixtures are stinking. They're terrible. Stevenage and Lincoln is really, really tough, and they're not games that you're expecting a lot of goals in either, playing against 2 really solid defences. Bradford's data is absolutely standout, but I just think those fixtures are going to be so unpredictable that I want to stay away from them. Maybe the odd player asset or so, but as a club, I'm not a fan. Lincoln I sort of prefer to Bradford because I think that they've got maybe a better chance of winning. That Leyton Orient game feels a bit more predictable, and I'm pretty confident that Lincoln might win that game, but hopefully I'm not going to curse them now. I'm sorry, Lincoln fans watching this. But the Bradford game's obviously really tricky. Lincoln's away form's actually been really good this season. They've got 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 away, albeit those have been in pretty favourable fixtures, and they've got 3 clean sheets away from home too. So I don't think the fact that it's a double away set of fixtures should really put you off. And then we've got to go to Plymouth now, who their fixtures are a lot better than the first 2 that we've named, but obviously Plymouth are 21st in the table. Exeter being a local derby I think is really unpredictable. The Mansfield game could be very winnable though, and it wouldn't surprise me if Plymouth win that. So those fixtures are definitely better, but the data isn't great for Plymouth. It's going to be a punt no matter what, and nobody's going to feel 100% confident with any of these team picks, but I do probably prefer Plymouth to Bradford. Just between them and Lincoln I think is a really close call. It's a really close call between them and Mansfield as well. Love the fact that they've got 2 home games, which sort of leans me towards Mansfield, and maybe you think, should we just go for them and stick it on Mansfield and not overthink it? Or do you back the teams that are really high up in the table and not overthink it there? Like the Mansfield fixtures, their data isn't great at all either. It's not the worst defensive data, but it's not great, and it's not the worst attacking data, but it's not great by any means. So yeah, they've got the best fixtures of the whole lot. Just depends if you want to go a bit safer and just go for home fixtures rather than target those unpredictable away ones. Accrington with Fleetwood and Tranmere. Accrington are just a pretty poor team, but they did win their last game that they played. Fleetwood and Tranmere, their fixtures are decent. I don't mind them, but Accrington have just been struggling so much. And similarly with Tranmere, really, who are struggling, and they're not too far off Accrington in the table. Their attacking data is a bit better, but their defensive data is pretty bad. So yeah, I don't mind the fixtures for Tranmere either. I think the Chesterfield game is tough, but it's at home. I'd rather the tougher game be at home, and then the away game at Accrington just really could go either way. So if I was to rank them, I think it's just so tough. I think I'm staying away from Bradford, although they're the best team in this, and I can't see myself going for Accrington. It's then picking 2 of the next 4. I think that I actually do like Tranmere's chances. And then it's just what you do with the other 3, those 3 other League One teams. I'll show you later on with my team reveal, but a lot of data to get into there. Hopefully it'll help you make a decision, but I actually think it's such a tough week to make a call in, and Tranmere and one of those 3 that I've listed would be what I'm going for. Onto the defenders section now, and I've got 1 defender from each of the teams that are doubling in this week listed here. So this is basically just my favourite defensive asset from any of the teams that are involved this week. We'll start with Sonny Bradley from Lincoln, who is probably my favourite of all the assets this week. I think that they've obviously got really tough fixtures. Leyton Orient seem to score a lot of goals, but they've also blanked 3 times this season, so that inconsistency is a bit tough. Lincoln seem to be able to graft out an away win and an away clean sheet as well, which they've got 3 of already this season. So don't mind it. His attacking data is really, really good. His clearance data is solid. So I think I'll just put Sonny Bradley in and hope for the best. If he gets a lot of clearances, gets a goal contribution, then brilliant. And if he gets a clean sheet on top of that, you're flying. So fingers crossed with Sonny Bradley. Oshilaja, who's recently returned from injury actually, and I do think that he improves that Mansfield defence a lot because their data hasn't been good this season. He's got 1 clean sheet in the 3 games he's played so far. 2 home games, makes it really, really favourable, I think, and his clearance data is really good. It was solid last season as well, and he always had a consistent average points around this 5 or 6 point mark they had last season as well. So yeah, I don't think that Oshilaja is the worst shout, but it just depends if that clashes with your Plymouth assets. Toure from Bradford, as I said, I don't think I like the Bradford picks, but if I was going to pick a defender from them, I would go for Toure because I think he's the most nailed in terms of minutes. I think he might have played every minute so far this season in the league for Bradford, but I don't like it. I do think that his attacking data is decent and that he's underperforming it, and he should have got a goal contribution already this season, but I would probably avoid any sort of Bradford defenders. Smith from Tranmere, his data is unbelievable. Over 10 average clearances is just stupendous. The fixtures are solid. The average points is really good. He has got 3 clean sheets, which is better than the 2 that a lot of the teams have got, but it's not amazing. I just think that if you put him in, he should at least get 2, maybe 3 clearance points per game if he gets a couple of tackles and blocks. As well as that, over the double, you would hope that he's going to get 5, 6, maybe 7 points just from DEFCONs. So fingers crossed with that one, and I think that I will definitely be back in Smith. Ward is one that I absolutely love. Despite Accrington being a poor defence, they're not good whatsoever. Although I think they've got the 10th best defensive record in the league in terms of XG, but they've obviously still conceded quite a lot of goals. So it's not the worst defence in the world, but it's not good by any means. So yeah, with Ward, what I like about him is those clearance numbers, and the blocks and the tackles are really good as well. If you look back to his previous game than the last one, so it was 2 games ago against Newport, he got 9 points in that game without a clean sheet, without a goal, without an assist, which is incredibly impressive. And the fact that he can do that without needing a clean sheet, I think maybe leans towards Ward being a potential option. And then Alex Mitchell at Plymouth as well. Again, similar to Bradford, I just wouldn't go for a Plymouth defender. If you're going to go for one, I would probably put it on Mitchell. His attacking data is actually decent, so maybe again he has that goal threat in him. But the clearances are solid too, but I just don't think that I'm confident in either of those games of them keeping a clean sheet. So that's sort of where I'm at. Bradley, Oshilaja, Smith and Ward, 2 maybe 3 out of them would be my picks to go for, and Bradley and Smith are definitely my favourites. Into the midfield section now, which I've found so exciting in recent weeks because there's been so many different assets to choose between. This week, there's really not much choice, to be honest with you. Sarkovic, who I've said about the Bradford assets before, those defensive sort of based ones, I'm not a fan of. This one I do really like. I think that he should start the first game, and as long as he does, then I will probably have Sarkovic in my team. He's on penalties. I think the expected minutes, you're not going to expect him to play back-to-back 90s. Maybe you're looking at 120 to 150 minutes or so for Sarkovic. But I think that could be enough for a haul. His interceptions are okay, which I like, but he's also a really good attacking asset. And he was really good in Fantasy EFL last year as well. So that always sort of makes me quite like and feel a bit safer about picking a player. Now we've got Bradley Ibrahim from Plymouth, and I should probably talk about him and Boateng at the same time as well. I think that Ibrahim's just a bit more likely to get an attacking return than Boateng is, because he might play in the 10 as well. The Plymouth fans said that he will more likely play in the 10, but could drop back into the 8 role. But I still don't mind the routes to points for either way with Ibrahim, but equally for Boateng, who's a bit more likely to get an interception, I quite like him too. So yeah, really don't mind it with Ibrahim. I think it maybe depends if you're partnering them with a Plymouth attacker as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. McDonald from Mansfield would be my Mansfield pick. His interceptions really, really good. He has scored 2 goals this season as well, but 0.08 expected goal involvements per 90 is really shocking data. So if you were to put him in your team, I'd just be putting him in for those interceptions. But in terms of an interception-based asset, I much prefer McRandall's. What a good transition that was, by the way. 17 interceptions for McRandall's from Lincoln this season. He's definitely not an Ethan Erahon-esque asset. I actually spoke to a guy called Joe over on Twitter, who I'll try and remember to put his at up here. A Lincoln fan who's a great guy. So if you have any questions about Lincoln, I'm sure that Joe would happily have you ask him along. He's more of an expert on them than me. But yeah, he said that he's not an Ethan Erahon type of asset. He's not going to keep up this interceptions or going to be expecting 2 or 3 a game like we might have had from Ethan last season. But his data is really good in terms of interceptions this season, so not much attacking threat whatsoever, but don't mind it in terms of a steady few points. You would hope that that gets you maybe 8 or 10 points over the course of the double. And then Adam Reach as well, who is a way more attacking asset in terms of the Lincoln midfielders. Quite like the Reach pick. I'm pretty sure he's on set pieces. That might be wrong because again, my Lincoln knowledge isn't perfect. But 0.2 expected goal involvements per 90 is okay. Reach can just score from anywhere. We know from Adam Reach throughout his career, he scored worldies from all over a football pitch. So he's really got that high ceiling, I would say, and that he's got that in his locker to just pull out a goal from nowhere. But it's not my favourite asset in the world, and he's probably going to be playing on the left side, maybe at left back or pretty wide and not in too much of an attacking position. So prefer Sarkovic, probably one of the Plymouth midfielders. If I was to want to pick somebody else outside of that, I would probably go for one of those Lincoln ones. But McDonald, not the worst asset in the world, but we're not spoilt for choice in midfield this week, and I wouldn't be going for 3 in midfield, to be honest. Onto the forward section now, and I've got to say as well, this goes for all of the different sections that we've had throughout this video. The percentage that you can see is obviously really low ownership, but I just don't think that people have changed their teams yet with the game week still going on from game week 12. Hopefully people aren't going to miss the deadline and are going to miss out on Plymouth assets that maybe they're going to want in and regret not picking. But onto the forwards anyway, and Amari Patrick gets to feature in here as well, so we've actually got in sort of the choices that are very limited this week between 6 teams, a forward that I'm used to putting in most of my videos, actually talking about him as an asset. So really like Patrick. The average points are unbelievable, the XGI is solid. We don't know if he's on penalties or not. To my knowledge, from what I could find, I don't think that Tranmere have had a penalty this season, but that could be wrong and maybe somebody else has just taken it and I missed it somewhere along the line. But so we're not sure about penalties with the form he's in. Maybe they're going to want to put him on penalties. Got an assist last game as well. The key passes and shots on target are brilliant. I just don't want to overthink this one. I think that just putting Patrick in the team feels like the right thing to do given how many points he's hitting at the minute. Humphreys from Bradford, I think, could be a bit of a sleeper pick. He's just come back from injury. Got a good haul last week as well. Back on the score sheet. I think he scored last week. I think it was 7 points he got in the last game week. That might be wrong. But his XGI is really good. But in terms of the expected minutes, probably not really expecting them to be too good. So I've tried to just write down and have a little bit of a guess at each of these assets in terms of their expected minutes. And with Humphreys, I'd probably put it at about 120, especially because there's been plenty of injury problems and there's options there for Bradford. Do think that Poynton's going to be out injured for the game week, by the way, but if he does end up being in, then he's going to be a really solid pick. Laurent Tolage from Plymouth as well. I don't know if it's Tolage or Tolai. I don't know how you actually pronounce it. I'm hoping that I'm saying it right with Tolage. Sounds a bit like I'm saying my own surname there. But he's just a brilliant pick, isn't he? I think in terms of his minutes for Tolage is what I'm going to go for. I'd put him at about 160 to 180. He could easily play 90s in both the games, to be honest. Pretty sure he's on penalties too, 6 goals and 1 assist. The shots on target data is really good. I think that he's just a brilliant option. Collins is a pick that I'm not as sure on, to be honest, and spoke to Joe, the Lincoln fan, as well about it. And he said that his minutes would be at about 100 to 130, he guessed for him. So that doesn't sound too promising, to be honest. And he's not actually started, I think, the last game, maybe even the last 2. I do think there's a good chance that they put him in for these sort of big away fixtures, because I think they're a better side with him in, and he's a really solid striker. Will be on penalties as well when he's on the pitch. It just depends if he starts. Maybe a few people will be interested in him as a bit of an outside shout. Now, Tyler Roberts, I actually really like as a differential, and he was one of the first players when I was doing my research this week. He was one of the ones that I noticed as a big differential that maybe he could be a bit of a sleeper pick. He's on penalties. He's scored in each of his last 3 games, 3 in his last 3, 3 and 6 in total this season. So like Roberts as a pick, I think he's a bit of an outsider. And 2 home games as well, you feel like Mansfield are going to score in them. And if they do score, there's a chance that he's going to be a part of it. So good XGI data as well, but equally, he's played every single game he's played this season, he's played in between 61 and 71 minutes. So seems to be starting every game, and you would expect him to play both of them, but he's not going to get those 90 minutes, I wouldn't think, and I'm going to expect about 120, 130 minutes from him. So I just feel like a Tolaj is probably a better asset to pick than somebody who, you know, is low, because 60 extra minutes over the course of a double game week, that's absolutely massive. Paddy Madden scored a hat-trick last week, so we've got to include him from Accrington, because it's definitely a pick that you can think about. It's not one that I want to go for myself. In terms of form, he's only hit that over that game. He's not actually got a goal contribution this season outside of his last game, when he got 3 goals and 1 assist. The data isn't brilliant either, but obviously he's shown that he's got a really high ceiling, and Paddy Madden over the years has been such a bagsman. I'd expect him to be on penalties too, always seemed to take penalties when he played against Wickham as well. So yeah, I remember actually watching him score at Fleetwood away against us. I like him as a player. Is that sort of eye test from a couple of years ago enough to make me want to go for him? Probably not, but he definitely does have that really high ceiling, and if he was to pull out, you know, another couple of goals, it wouldn't surprise me. I just think it's a bit of a risky pick. And then Oates from Mansfield as well. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist in 6 games this season. The XGI data pretty similar to Roberts playing up front. It's just that Roberts is on penalties, so I probably prefer Roberts to him, and Oates has always struggled with injuries, I think, as well. So certainly managing those minutes since coming back into the team. With him, I would expect maybe 120 to 140 minutes. He has had a game where he played, I think, 89 minutes in it. But I think I just prefer Roberts' threat, and with the penalties, that makes me lean towards him. But don't think that Oates is the worst differential in the world, and at 0%, he's sitting pretty nice at the minute. So sorry, there's been a lot to say there about the forward section. I've just tried to analyse the minutes, because that's sort of where I went wrong last week. I'm going to try and improve that for the doubles going forward. So yeah, I think that Tolaj is one of the standouts. Patrick I really like as well. Have I gone for Tolaj and put my money where my mouth is? You'll find out in a little bit, but for now, let's get into this week's Experts Corner. Welcome back everyone to the Experts Corner. Gather round, because it's time to hear from one of Fantasy EFL's finest managers. Of course, I've loved bringing this extra section into the videos and hearing from some of the top managers. It's not helped me to improve my rank, but I hope that it's helping some other people, because I seem to be ignoring their advice and still going off and making silly decisions apparently. But yeah, so this week we've got Adam Drew on, who's been world number 1 for quite a few weeks, and actually did an interview with Fantasy EFL over the past week or so that came out, which was really good to hear. He actually shouted me out in it, which meant so much, so thank you to Adam for that. A brilliant guy, so really interested to see his team. He's had a rough last couple of weeks, but I think that just shows how tough it is over at the top to drop from being the world number 1 for a few weeks to 15, but he's still got an absolutely brilliant rank. So big ups to Adam, absolutely flying this season, and I'll hand you over to him to explain his first draft for double game week 13.
Thank you very much, Toby, for inviting me to do the Experts Corner to explain my game week 13 picks. I was, of course, the world number 1 at one point, dropped down to world number 2. I'm currently world number 15, which shows how brutal this game is. Anyways, let's look at these picks. So I've got Sam Walker in goals for Bradford City. He's only kept 2 clean sheets so far this season, but his saves tally tempts me with the big fixtures that he's got. Onto my defence, I've currently captained Nathan Smith of Tranmere. He's a goal threat, and he weighs up with the clearances. He's quite a big all-rounder, and there's some competitive games for him. And then my other defender is Sonny Bradley. He's got 2 tough away matches, but again, he weighs in with lots of clearances. He's capable of scoring goals. He seems a good option in the defence for me in this limited game week. My midfielders, Sarsevic's form speaks for itself with 5 goals, 3 assists. His games are off-putting for some, but he's capable of delivering in the big matches, as he's proved at places like Cardiff City. And I've got Regan Hendry of Mansfield currently. That's subject to lineups, of course. I'll probably change that as and when. And then the rest of my team is dominated by Plymouth Argyle with the Thursday night early kickoff. I might be off-putting to some the early kickoff, but the 2 days rest advantage against Mansfield on the Tuesday night tempts me. So I've got Bradley Ibrahim and Laurent Talaj with the vice-captain trick in mind. And onto my club picks. It's a bit limited, of course, with 6 doublers, but again, I've gone with the big clubs, Bradford City and Plymouth Argyle. Thank you very much again for inviting me, and all the best for the upcoming game week.
There we go then, the World Number 15's first draft for Game Week 13. I'm sure that things might change around in his team, as he mentioned about Hendry as well. Which, if Hendry is to start, I think that he's a very attacking and a potential asset, but it's just his minutes have been pretty low at the minute, which I guess that's why Adam said that maybe he could swap him out in the future. 3 midfield, it feels a bit brave. Like I said, I think those midfield assets are pretty tough, but Ibrahim and Sarkovic are definitely going to be the popular ones this week. Really liking the look of the team as well. A lot of us are going to have really similar looking teams, aren't we, this week? So we'll see if I've got any changes in my team, how I'm differing from Adam. And thank you again to Adam so much for coming on, and best of luck for the coming week. Go and get that number 1 title back. Here's my Game Week 13 team selection, and I'd actually call it more of a first draft because I feel really unsettled this week on who I'm going to be choosing, and I definitely think that I'm going to swap around the team compared to how it is now. But let's just talk through it and talk through what feels like a never-ending watch list as well. We'll of course start with the starting team. We've got Roberts in net from Mansfield, which I've just got him in because it's 2 home games, and it feels like in back-to-back home games any team has a decent chance of a clean sheet. But I don't feel good about it whatsoever. He had a good haul last week, but that's not what's really attracting me to him. It's just those 2 home games and sort of not wanting to clash loads of players or double up on teams that I don't feel confident in. I think you just need a lot of luck really to succeed this week, to be honest, and if I was to put a player like Robertson, I'd just be hoping from luck, to be honest. Sonny Bradley I really like because of the attacking threat, and I don't think the fixtures are as bad as they maybe look from the outside perspective because of how good they are away from home. Smith's just been so consistent, so love him being in there. Ibrahim and Sarkovic I think are going to be in most people's teams this week, and I can't see myself really moving from Sarkovic, but Ibrahim could be swapped for Boateng if I do end up then going for Tolaj instead of Roberts, because I feel like Boateng has a bit of a safer floor than Ibrahim. So if I was to go for the attacking Tolaj pick from Plymouth, maybe I'd then want to go for Boateng in there. But Roberts and Patrick, I think that Tolaj is just a better asset than Roberts. That's the problem now, is I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, should I put Tolaj in? But Roberts was just calling to me straight away, and that's what my gut was saying. But now I feel like my head is telling me, go for Tolaj. It just makes sense. Patrick I think definitely will be in there. If I captain him, I'm not sure. I don't really want to captain any of these players, to be honest. I think that Sonny Bradley has a massive ceiling, so maybe could be a captaincy option, especially with the clearances as well. Hopefully his floor isn't too low either. But going for quadruple Tranmere just feels stupid, so I think that I should probably move that captaincy elsewhere. I'm on the Lincoln team pick, but I do sort of want to go for Mansfield or Plymouth. It's just making that 50-50 decision. If I can't decide between Mansfield and Plymouth, I might just stick it on Lincoln. But I think that Plymouth would be a good idea. But equally, if I then go for Tolaj, Ibrahim and Plymouth, I've got 3 assets on the Thursday night, and that could just be game week over before it even starts. So such a tricky week. I don't mind this team that I'm on at the minute, but I just think that Tolaj's data and his minutes tell me that I should put him in. It's just who I swap around. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking about going for Tyler Roberts, or if Tolaj and Patrick are just nailed for you, or if you're looking at anybody else in terms of the forwards that maybe I'm disregarding a bit too much. But that's where I'm at for now. Just such a tricky week, and there's so many different things that could change and going to be swings between people's teams, but I think we're all going to look fairly similar come the deadline. So that's all I've got time for in this mini double game week preview. 6 teams doubling. It's going to be really exciting seeing sort of how it plays out. I just hope that people don't get caught out by that really early deadline, because it's very tough, because I think a lot of people won't be really expecting it from the Wednesday to the Thursday, literally back-to-back days changing game week. So let's see how it goes. Fingers crossed loser from Watford, as I'm recording this, can pull me out a haul as well to end game week 12 with. But I hope that all that information has helped you out. I think it's actually really good to have that data this week to look at and try and make those informed decisions, because it's such close decision making. I think it's actually trickier to pick a team this week than it was last week with all those different picks. It's actually very hard to call because it's so close between everything. So good luck to everyone for the week. I hope that the data helps you out, and that you all have a smashing week. Fly up those rankings. Give me a subscribe if you haven't already. I would appreciate it so much, and give the video a like too, because I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by Christmas, and I really think that we can do it. So fingers crossed, with you guys' help, we can do it by Christmas. It will be the best present ever thanks as always for all you guys' support, because it's just been phenomenal seeing everybody tuning in every week to the videos and the lovely comments that I get. It's really wholesome, and the fact that anybody genuinely watches my videos means the world to me. So thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you same time, same place next week. Good luck everyone, and peace.